I'm gonna be honest, I went into 2026 expecting it to be my year, and I pretty much gave up all hope on that within the first 2 weeks of January. Looks like I'll have to wait until 2027 rolls around. That'll for sure be my year. Can't wait for that to age terribly. But you know what? I just could be overreacting, and maybe there's some hope out there. I mean, Valentine's Day is around the corner. You know, a time where people get all cutesy and lovey-dovey with one another, giving romantic gifts to someone special in your life, and totally not hanging around indoors all day eating chocolates and crying in your heart-shaped pillow. Okay, as it turns out, I'm still single, but I'm not gonna let that bring me down. I'll just put on something romantic to pass the time. I could watch something that's wholesome, maybe something a little more comedic, or perhaps one that leans more on the tragic side of things. But I'm fine with whatever. I mean, as long as it isn't anything too unbearable. Come on, television, give me something good. I just can't take a break, can I? There's no rest. Yeah, it's gonna be one of those videos. I just want to start things off by saying, even though I can come across as critical when looking at art-related stuff, I try my best to stay positive and try to find a silver lining, but this was just abysmal. I am, of course, talking about the Zootopia comic trilogy made by Borba. We all know what we're getting into. We all know that this comic has its fair share of infamy and is basically old news at this point, so why would I bother talking about it now in the Big 26? I mean, everyone has already said what they needed to say about it, and we can just move on from it and hate something else, right? Well, I thought I had moved past it myself, until one fateful day when the YouTube algorithm decided to throw a wrench in the works and recommend an AI recreation of that very comic. Yep, AI ruins everything, who would have thought? But the fact that this video only came out around 3 months ago at the time of me recording this video proves to me that this comic is still fresh in some people's minds, whether we like it or not. However, one revelation that struck me while I was looking into this is that I found out that I Will Survive is actually the first in a trilogy of comics. Now, up until that point, I had no idea that the latter two, Born to Be Alive and Never Say Goodbye, even existed. And once I made this discovery, I thought to myself, oh my god, I have to look into this. Even though I like to go into things with an open mind, I just knew deep down that this was going to be a slog. So I recorded my raw reaction when reading through all 3 comics for the first time, and again, my expectations were low, but holy fuck. There is just so much insanity that happens that I need to talk about it, because this is probably the worst thing I've had to cover on this channel thus far, and I can't imagine how things would get worse from here. But even though I'm gonna be mean when covering this, I just thought I'd throw out there that I don't want to cause harm to anyone, and I definitely do not condone any bullying or harassment towards the author or any fans of this work. I'm just trying to find some enjoyment out of something I hated and make it entertaining in the process. If you're curious, you could read the comics for yourself, which I'll be linking in the description below, even though I personally wouldn't recommend you going through the pain I did. And with that out of the way, let's tear into this piece of shit trilogy. Reading I Will Survive again after all these years felt very surreal, like suddenly getting a Vietnam War flashback. If I were to give a compliment towards this comic, I will say that it is drawn very well at times. There are some panels where I feel like the expressions are done really well, and the look and proportions of Nick and Judy are pretty spot on. The overall look feels like it's trying to replicate the feel of some gritty black and white comic, specifically in moments where it has some dramatic lighting. You could tell that a lot of work was put behind this, which somehow makes this comic even more of an enigma. I feel like it would have been one thing if this comic was drawn in a crappy fashion or with crayons or whatever, because then I would have written this comic off as the deranged scribblings of a madman. But the fact that a lot of these images are drawn rather well makes things much more jarring. Having these well-known characters from Zootopia be the center focus of a story about abortion is just so weird on paper, but seeing it in execution with such care put behind it is just pure insanity. You only need to look at one panel on its own, and it's enough to put you in hysterics because of how ridiculous it looks.
Oh no. Like it's like, I'm sorry. I know abortion is, a touchy subject matter. It's like very serious. But I can't not laugh when I see Judy fucking Hopps say that, tears in her eyes, and then the next panel, Nick looking so horrified.
The storyline in I Will Survive is quite simple. Judy is pregnant but doesn't want a child. She and Nick argue about it. Judy pulls a Will Smith. Nick says some final words, packs his things and leaves, leaving poor Judy to cry alone. The story itself is probably the least interesting thing about the comic, as it's your standard overdramatic Wattpad fanfic story, but with a different coat of paint. But it's how it's executed that really grabs my attention. First things first, the fact that this is a Zootopia fanfic already puts it at a disadvantage, because, in my opinion, when covering serious subjects like abortion, it's best to take it seriously and have it grounded in reality, and, basically treat the characters with respect and dignity. Though, to be fair, the core story itself would have been horrible even without having Zootopia attached to it. For one, the dialogue is awful. It's so melodramatic and try-hard. And even though this comic is pretty brief, reading through some of these character lines is so taxing that it makes getting through it feel like an eternity. In the scene where Judy gives her reasons as to why she doesn't want a child, the way she describes her worries and fears feels off.
Okay. Oh man, this is all coming back to me. It feels like I'm getting a flashback. Because I remember it tries way too hard to be serious, but you have phrases like, but how wrong I was, where there's just something so melodramatic about that I just do not vibe with.
Not only that, but the dialogue goes on for so long, and it just does not get any better. There's even a point where it gets so out of hand that some of the speech bubbles are poorly formatted.
Bro, I ain't reading all that. Also, this framing is so bad. This probably, instead of just one block of text, they probably could have did a string of speech bubbles across the panel or something. Or I guess it wouldn't be so awkward because it's just giant speech bubble, big block of text. Yeah, it just feels very out of place.
At the end of the day, the dialogue just feels like padding. It's filled with dramatic gibberish to make things feel more serious than they actually are. It serves only to fill up the empty space between different climactic moments, such as that scene.
Oh, I think this is the scene. Hey! It's the panel! Yes! Oh my god. It's kind of funny how well drawn this is, and like you can really see how much thought was like put into making it look good and like all the facial expressions. And by the way, that face, that looks something like straight out of like a Junji Ito comic. But yeah, it's just so weird. Oh, it's such an oddity.
One final thing I have to mention about why this comic doesn't work is that when it tries to go for an emotional punch in the gut, it completely fumbles the bag. In fact, I would argue that they're the funniest parts in the story, such as the slap, or when Judy and Nick part ways.
Nick, where are you going? Don't worry, I will survive. No.
Or when Nick suddenly goes full Catholic mode.
Judy, what would have happened if your mother, while pregnant with you, had decided to interrupt her pregnancy? And again, like, I know, touchy subject matter, but it's just fucking Judy Hopps family photos with a giant X on there, like it's one of those, like, as seen on TV infomercials. For God's sake, Judy, give this unborn child the opportunity to do the same. I beg you, please let your light... Oh my God, he sounds like a hardcore Mormon or something. Let Jesus help you make the right decision and save our kid.
By the way, that premeditated sin line is something straight out of The Room.
It'd have been better for you, for us, if you'd have... Oh no, God, my mic. Okay. Wow, what a bitch.
It's so dramatic, yet insincere to the point where it's bordering on parody. So by the time I see Judy have an emotional breakdown after Nick leaves, followed by a line that looks straight out of a Facebook mom's social media feed, I can't help but laugh. And I feel kinda disgusted by that.
Nick! Oh no! No. Nothing lasts forever. Even an apparently everlasting love that has triumphed over the odds and many challenges may eventually come to an end. Oh my God, this is so cool.
I mean, sure, it is drawn well at times, but that doesn't mean shit when the storyline itself is shit, man. So yeah, whatever hate you've heard regarding I Will Survive, I can indeed confirm that they're valid. I mean, I'm not mad, I'm not surprised, really, but from this point forward, I was going into uncharted waters.
Okay, you know what? I'm a little numb to this because, like, I read plenty of stories similar to this when, like, I was young, but I hated those back then too, and I still hate those kinds of stories now. And oh yeah, this is only the first of the sequels, so... But you know what? It might improve from here. Maybe the author learned from their mistakes and are deciding, hey, you know what? Maybe I can, like, learn to be better on future releases. Because I don't know how you could potentially top this.
Wow, I was really naive thinking that these next two would be better. Because I Will Survive is basically Shakespeare in comparison. How I long for the scenes where Judy cries about not wanting a child and Nick rambling about pro-life. And I think I knew right away that this was going to be rough when it opens up with Nick banging on the door, screaming for Judy.
Oh no. Oh. But just seeing this with, like, Nick ferociously banging on the door, screaming, Judy! And all those locks on the door. Oh no. This is gonna be unbearable, isn't it?
Yep, and things did indeed get unbearable so quickly after this. One red flag that I noticed when looking through this is that the drawings, to me, kind of took a bit of a downgrade compared to the original. For example, there's a noticeable difference between how the lighting is drawn between the two. If you look closely at the shadings in I Will Survive, there's a sort of grainy, old-school comic feel to them. However, in Born to Be Alive, the shading feels a lot more basic and flat, and looks like your standard webcomic with a black and white filter over it. Okay, maybe that's a bit of a nitpick, and in the grander scheme of things, that is the least of my concerns. Because when you look at where this story goes from here on out, folks, you're not going to believe this. So basically, after Nick barges his way into Judy's apartment, he's on his hands and knees begging for Judy to let him back in his life, and Judy's all like, "Hey, why weren't you here for me when I needed you the most?" And yeah, valid, but frankly, the writing hasn't gotten any better, and there isn't really much maturity reflected in these characters' actions. As a matter of fact, I would argue that things have regressed. For example, the first thing that Nick does once he's inside is bitch and complain about some random bullshit, with Judy also delivering the same melodramatic lines from the previous comic. What I'm getting at is that right off the bat, the mood has gone sour because I already dislike these characters, and I hate how their worst traits from the first comic have carried over here in the second one, but have become more prominent.
You didn't come here to talk about the furniture, did you? No fucking shit, Judy. How cold-hearted you are tonight. You fucking it's 4 a.m. People have work. Ugh. Oh my. Oh, I hate this.
But what sucks about this is that there are moments where I wish they treated Judy's character arc more seriously, or at least wrote it better. But it's like the author couldn't help themselves but fall back into old habits. Like, I know this is a fanfic, but have some shame. So here I was, expecting this to be some stupid, poorly written domestic dispute, but then it kind of threw me in a loop by dishing out this.
Is that Frida Kahlo? Oh, the fucking Frida Kahlo. Look at it. The fucking Frida Kahlo. Judy! Oh, I knew it. Oh, please don't disappoint me. Oh. Get fucking cucked.
I'm gonna be honest, I was kind of locked in when Judy initially revealed that she was in a much happier relationship with a woman, but then my excitement faded away when this comic fucked up whatever potential this plot point had. The way that Judy describes her relationship with Shay is mixed at best. I feel like the best part in that scene was when Judy kept things direct and straight to the point, showing how sometimes the little things between two people can go a long way and form a deep connection. However, in order to get to that, you have to get through the mention of carrot flicks. Carrot flicks. What?
What? What? What the fuck is that? Carrot. Oh my god. Oh. Whoa. Whoa. Oh, it went there, didn't it? Oh no.
It's stupid shit like that that kills the momentum of whatever this was going for. And also, it doesn't help that throughout all this, Nick interjects by being all mortified with what he's hearing.
Okay. I think I found like the contender for like most cursed panel. I mean, that's up there with like Judy slapping Nick and her being like, I don't want this child. Just like Judy and Shay or whatever her name is, just like looking all dreamy-eyed with each other, and Nick in the corner screaming in horror.
If there was something that this particular comic proved to me, it's that Nick is a giant fucking loser. I mean, I guess you can say that he was always snarky in the original Zootopia movie, as that was the point of his character, but in this particular comic trilogy, and especially in Born to Be Alive, he is an irredeemable douchebag. If forcing his way into Judy's apartment wasn't bad enough, you have him acting like a complete incel and an annoying one at that. And again, I feel that something like this could work, where you have a woman go through hell and back, find new love, and face off against the man who wronged her. Shout out to the handmaiden. But it just can't help itself but be an emotional wreck. It tries way too hard to be shocking and have its oh shit moments, and as a result only embarrasses itself even further.
That seems like something he shouldn't say. Oh. Wow. Talk about setting us back. And by the way, you know it's bad when like it's literally an offensive term that I had to like look up what it means. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Bug off? Who says that? My leg!
Even when Judy faces off against Nick, it's so incredibly unsatisfying because of how fucking cheesy the dialogue is.
This is so bad! Oh, no. Oh, I found me a new... Oh my god, this is so terrible. It's so badly written. How does this make the first one look more competent in comparison?
You can hear me laughing in this clip, but at this point, things stopped being funny a while ago, so whenever you hear me laugh from now on, that's just me coping with the absurdity of it all. Not really that much to say here outside of one final surprise when the comic suddenly shifts into color.
Oh my god, it's in color. Oh, why is she ugly now? No, bring it back. Nah.
What I find to be personally insulting about Born to Be Alive is that the author probably had time to reflect on the previous comic and find ways to progress the story in a more well thought out way. And sure, if you look really, really deep into it, it kind of attempts to do that, but there's just so much rot surrounding it that any half-ass attempts of change is futile.
No, it's not worth it. It's not worth... Oh my god, this is so bad.
One last thing I will say before we move on is that at least things cannot get worse from here. Well, that was a fucking lie. It can absolutely get worse from here. The final comic in the trilogy, Never Say Goodbye, is rock fucking bottom. I've had more joy reading No Longer Human than I did reading this garbage. Now we've gone full color mode, which is already a bad sign considering my visceral reaction to the ending of the last comic. But even when looking at the first panel, the very first panel, I already spotted some laziness.
Wait. Oh, nah. This looks like literally like a frame from the movie, but they just threw in like a filter over it to like make it look more comic booky. Because like look at how like garbled up the background is here, and yet right here it's like very crisp lines and shit. I don't know about that.
Having the first image basically be a frame of the movie with some comic book filter thrown over it tells me everything I need to know on how much the author didn't give a fuck and just wanted to wrap things up as quickly as possible. Which means it's going to be one of those endings where it desperately tries to have a happy ending, tie up some loose ends, even if it ends up being really sappy and cluttered in the process. And I hate it.
Oh. And just when I thought things couldn't get any worse, like you already have this. So, for those of you who don't know, one whole thing about Zootopia was that this guy right here, Nick, used to be a part of like the Boy Scouts or whatever, and then they bullied him into becoming a dick or whatever. And
I'm not sure I could put into words how livid I was when going through Never Say Goodbye, but I'll try my best. When I get really irritated with something, whether it be a movie, show, book, I start skimming through it because I cannot. I just can't. This sort of ending does not have the right to exist. It is so undeserving, to say the least. I don't give a shit that Nick is a Boy Scout leader now and that Judy is mayor, because I already hated their characters in this. Because by this point, I'm given no reason to root for them or relate to them in any way. I'm pretty sure that the goal with showing everyone being happy and getting everything they want and showing forgiveness for one another is to have the reader feel happy and go, "Oh, that's so adorable." But when I read this, I see right through it and I go full trumpet guy mode.
You're no artist. An artist respects the silence. It serves as the foundation of creativity. You obviously don't have the talent. You don't have enough respect for yourself or other people, or what it is to express yourself. And I'm an NYU film school graduate, sucker!
There's nothing much to go over in the first act besides Nick and Judy catching up with one another, so I'll just play a supercut of me slowly losing my sanity as I read through this shit.
oh no! No! Why did you give her that hair? Oh, that hair looks so bad. I never thought I'd say this, but having like this like devolve into a shootout or like some type of intense altercation, like I don't know, like that scene in Taxi Driver, I feel like that would be way more tolerable than like a forgiveness arc, because keep in mind, this guy did all of this. He did all of this, and you made it clear how much you despised him, and now it's like, oh, Sugoi? A longtime friend of mine? What do you mean? You told him to get out of your life forever. Why are you doing this? You know, it just dawned on me that, like, the whole arc of this story is that, like, there's this whole pregnancy scare, and Judy's like, you know what, I'm not ready for a child. And then Nick is like, okay, well, fuck you. I'm a Mormon. And then he comes back and becomes a total incel and does this. And now later when she's mayor, she's like forgiving him and calling him a friend. Like, am I insane? What is going on here? I never had such hard feelings for you. What about... Huh? Huh? What? Am I taking crazy pills?
It's obvious that there was absolutely no forethought when making these comics, but it's still so confusing how this was allowed to happen. And one common theme I find with this trilogy is that they contain long stretches of terrible dialogue that take me out of it, but once it hits a climactic peak, it stops me in my tracks. In I Will Survive, it was the slapping scene. In Born to Be Alive, it was Nick screaming at the sight of lesbians. And in Never Say Goodbye, it was when Judy brings up a certain hateful organization and how the comic goes as far as to show a bunch of animals doing a particular hand gesture that would probably get me demonetized if I showed it.
What the fuck is going on? Okay, I was about to say that, like, I really don't care about this right now because I feel like I've just lost all interest and I'm just skimming through this and just want to get it over with. But what the hell is this? Oh no, are they gonna try to address, like, Neo or something? This integration and don't want to be reelected. Oh! Oh no! Oh my god! Oh, okay. I think I found a new contender for most cursed image, because what in the hell is this? Does Nick Fuentes have a persona now?
I have seen plenty of people clown on these infamous images of I Will Survive, but this image in Never Say Goodbye fucking blows it out of the water. I'm obviously not going to show it because it is that distasteful, which says a lot coming from a series that stemmed from Judy Hopps not wanting a child. Because, seriously, what the fuck is this? And there's still around 10 more pages left. That's great.
Oh shit, what up, Retzko? I really hope you'll forgive me someday. Okay. Oh, brother. This young lady is named Mulan. They named the red panda Mulan?
That's gotta be racist. There's no way. I'm gonna just keep it real.
You know, I could go on all day breaking down everything I find so wrong about this ending, but I'm just not having fun anymore. And by this point in my initial reaction, I was basically broken.
I don't care about any of you people. This whole story's... You know, it takes me a lot for me to, like, outright say a story sucks. Like, even when I was, like, covering the I dared my best friend to ruin my life, there were parts where I'm like, yeah, this is cringe, this is, like, really stupid, but nothing like this. I was going into this thinking that, like, oh, this is, hopefully, like, the author has a change of heart, but it somehow gets worse and worse. Is that fucking Song of the South? Are you fucking kidding me? Just give me a break. This is not good for my health. Okay, well, that's it.
So, yeah, it ends. It ends in the most unearned, sappiest way possible, but we're somehow not out of the woods yet, oh no. Because with the version I read, there was some additional content that's added afterwards that actually shocked me.
Oh, there's an extra. Judy, get down! I mean that's a little inoffensive to call back to that assassination, but I mean, I can't be the only one thinking this, right? Wait. Oh my god! No! Whoa! Oh, what the... I was joking. I just saw like her in the car with the wife, and it's like, Judy, get down. But oh my god, they're actually doing it. Oh my god. That's fucking horrifying. That's literally how it ends. It literally ends with Judy getting possessed. It literally ends with her being assassinated. Oh my god. Oh, I can't breathe. Oh my god. That final image could be used in like a Zootopia creepypasta, like a Lost episode creepypasta where it ends with like Judy being brutally murdered. Yeah,
I don't know about this one, Chief. I have read a lot of cringy fanfics and fan comics in my lifetime, but this trilogy is hands down one of the worst I've ever read. Even when I cover something I don't like, I still try my best to give some words of kindness towards the creator and get all apologetic towards the fans, but there's just no light at the end of the tunnel here. It's honestly quite impressive how big of a train wreck this is, not to mention how it goes into so many weird directions to the point where I can't help but laugh. But looking back on it, I feel like all that laughter was just me trying to cope with something that's so rancid and rotten right down to its core. If I were to give advice to this creator, I would say, hey man, follow your dreams. You clearly put a lot of passion into your drawings, but for the love of Jesus goddamn tap dancing Christ, get your shit together. Have some self-awareness when writing a narrative, and don't let something like this happen again. Please, I'm begging you. But follow your dreams. I'm just glad that I'll never have to read any of those comics again. They were really bad, but I hope that you found this video to be good. And if you did enjoy this, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell to be notified of my latest videos. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of this comic series, or if there's anything you'd like me to cover in future videos. And be sure to check out the They Took Our Eyes Discord, where I'll be posting some behind the scenes work, chatting randomly, and hosting some events. I also make drawings for any new members that join, so make sure to stop on by. Thanks again for watching. My name is Valentino, and I am out of here. Bye!